All right, let's get started. We'll open our first project. Now, it's great that you started right here because this first project is really important for the whole scheme of how this whole DVD works, because we're building these storybook layouts, but it's beyond that. We don't want to have to build them from scratch every time. I mean, that's the thing. So we've got this first image. We're going to build on this, but I want you to think of this as this first project is the building block for the rest of the whole DVD. So once we're done with this first project, you'll start to get an idea of, number one, is how this works, and number two, how fast you're going to be able to work. You put a little bit of work up front, and the big payoff is once you've done your template, the next wedding you go to do, you'll be able to do it in no time. And it's a lot of fun. I love doing this wedding template stuff because, well, you'll see. Here we go. We're going to start off with our first image. The first template we're going to do, I'm going to call it a color cutaway, and you can see I named the file that. That's not the official name, of course, but I'm calling it a color cutaway, and you'll see why in just a second. It starts with determining where you want people to focus on the image, because this technique basically focuses the person looking at this image in a certain place. So we're going to grab the rectangular marquee tool over here in the toolbar, and I'm going to draw a rectangle over the area where I want people to focus, right there. I'll focus right there. And by the way, if you don't hit it right in the right spot the first time, just use the space bar. Hold the space bar on your keyboard. You can move it where you want it. Okay, so how about right there? We're focused in on the couple. All right, that's the first thing we're going to do. Let me move the layers palette over just a hair. There we go. Okay, so this area is where we're going to focus our effect. All right, the first thing we need to do now that we have that in place is we need to actually inverse that selection. So we have them selected, but I need everything but them selected. So we go up under the select menu and just choose inverse. And watch, everything but them is selected. Okay, now we're going to go over to the layers palette, and from the adjustment layer pop-up menu, let me move this over a little so you can see a little better. There we go. From the pop-up, we're going to choose hue and saturation. Okay, adjustment layers are a very, very important part of this template scheme because it allows us to have adjustments that happen without us really doing anything. And if that makes no sense at all, and at this point it probably should, it'll make sense in just a minute. All right, let's go ahead and open up this hue and saturation adjustment layer. All right, now inside this dialog box, the hue and saturation adjustment layer, I'll cover the layers palette so it doesn't distract from what we're doing. Okay, here we go. Inside the hue and saturation dialog box, click on the colorize button. Okay, just click on colorize. All right, as soon as you do that, you can see what happened. Let me move this off screen for a second so you can see. And you can see this little red area here. So there's the area we focused on. It's not affecting them, it's affecting everything but them. So in the hue and saturation dialog box, once you click on colorize, it lets you colorize that area. So we're going to go ahead and colorize this. Let me pick something over here in the kind of something around like right there. All right, we'll leave the saturation set at its default setting. And what I'm going to do is create a backscreen effect by increasing the lightness up to about 55, 56, somewhere in there, like that. Okay, so the hue set at 55, the lightness is like 56, and click OK. Now, these are not official numbers that are ordained or sanctioned by anyone. Basically, that looks good to me. So here we go. Now, see how it kind of backscreened the area? So this is no longer a full color image back here, just this area right here. And this is what I was talking about, is you're going to focus on one part of the image. All right, now, so we've got that done. Next, you're going to hold the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC. See, although we're using the Mac version right here on this DVD, the Mac version and the Windows version of Photoshop are the same. So it doesn't make any difference, but the keyboard is a little different on a Mac than a PC. So every time I give you a shortcut, I have to give you both the Mac and the PC. But hey, no problem. Here we go. So Command click right on that little layer, that little icon right there, that thumbnail. That's the word I'm looking for, thumbnail. So Command click, or in PC Control click, and it reloads that selection. All right, now it selected everything but the middle, right? So now I need to go back and inverse again. Choose inverse. Now it's covering them. Here's what we need to do. I'm going to create a brand new layer, and I'm going to fill this layer with black. Okay? Brand new layer, and fill it with black. Now we can deselect by pressing Command D or in PC Control D. Okay, so take a look at what we've got. We have our background layer. We've got this little cutaway. We have that black layer up there. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a white stroke around this layer. Okay, you can do that with one of the built-in layer styles here. And actually, I'm going to move this up so you can see it's the last one in the list. Right down the bottom there, stroke. And it's going to bring up the stroke dialog box. It's rather large. Here it is right there. It's just big enough to completely cover everything. Okay, what we need to do here is I'm going to slide it over a little. So see the OK and all? I don't need that stuff. I'll slide it over here for now. So you can see here's our red stroke. By default, it puts a red stroke on, but we don't want a red stroke. I want to change the color to white. So click on the little color swatch. When the color picker comes up, slide over to white. Okay, now we have a white stroke. And I'm going to lower the size about, we'll go down to 2. How's that? Now, do you notice how the corners are kind of rounded? Here, let me make it bigger so you can see. See, the corners are kind of rounded. Well, they're not kind of rounded. They're way rounded. If you change it from outside, let's get it back down to size here, to inside for position, outside to inside. When you go to inside, it takes away the rounding. So now they're nice and straight corners. All right. So that's basically all I needed to do was put a 2-pixel stroke around it, change the position to inside. Now I can bring OK back and click it. All right. Now, here's the thing. This is kind of interesting. If you look at the little black square that I've made, if I lower the opacity, watch what happens. The white stroke and the black box will eventually completely disappear. However, right under the word opacity is the word fill. Okay? The fill amount is how much of this black stays. So if I just lower the fill, watch what happens. The black in the middle lightens up, but the white stroke around it does not. The layer effect stroke stays on there. So that's kind of a little cool trick. So the fill goes away, but the stroke stays. The spoke strays. The stroke stays. Now that I've got that in place, to give a little feeling of depth, we're going to go back to the Layer Style pop-up menu, but this time we're going to choose an inner glow. All right, so we'll bring up the inner glow dialog box. All right, now I'm going to change the color to black, so we're going to click on this little swatch right here, change it to black, and click OK. Now, you notice you don't really see, even though you change to black, you don't see the color change. That's because the default blend mode for this glow is screen. And unfortunately, in this particular scene, you don't see it when you change to black. All you have to do to see it is change your blend mode from screen to normal. There, did you see that? Now you can kind of see the edge. We need more edge, so go down here to size, and as you increase the size, we'll increase up to like 25, you start to see that inner glow I was talking about. There it is. All right, let me move it out of the way so you can see. Ah, sweet. Okay, now let's just lower the opacity. It's a little intense, so I want to kind of lower the intensity a little bit, and click OK. Okay, so now take a look at what we've got. Let's move this out of the way. So now we have this nice back screened area. It's tinted a different color. It's screened. We have the depth of this. It kind of looks like it's cut down into there. It's like a cutaway into them. And then there's the full color picture. And this particular type of effect, very, very popular in storybook weddings. But I got to tell you one more thing we have to add to this that takes it to that next level, is we have to add a line of text. So go get the type tool. And we're going to choose, you can choose any typeface you want that looks like a handwritten script or just any kind of actually nice script. I'm using this one called Grimshaw Hand, which I just bought recently. It was very inexpensive font. It's from ITC. And it's got a real nice handwriting look to it. So we're going to click right here and we'll write, oh, actually, it's my type is in white. So go up here, switch it to black. It'll be easier to see. There we go. So just switch that to black, and they lived happily ever after. And then I'll just position it right there. All right. So this is our finished original. Okay, the layout here that I was looking for. Now, so that's kind of the basics, but we have to take it to the next level. You've got to save this file, but before you save this file, it's important to do this. Bring your layers palette back into view. All right, go to the very bottom and click on the background layer. This is critical because this is going to help you out on your next job. Okay, you're making a template, remember? So we've set this up once. We've gone through all that trouble. And I mean, it wasn't trouble. It was a few steps. But you get the idea. You have to click on the background layer. Now, we're going to go and we're going to save this. Save as. We'll call this Cutaway template. Okay, let's spell it right just for fun. Template. All right, template. There we go. So we're going to save that. All right, and we're going to close the file. Okay, so we've created our first template, and a week later, you go out and you shoot an entirely different wedding. You bring the images in from your memory card, you have them on your drive. Now it's time to get to work. You want to start doing some layouts for the client. Let's open up our template first, the one we just saved, Cutaway template. All right. Now open up one of the files from the wedding. We'll open up, all right, so here's from a totally different wedding, totally different shot. Okay. Now, let me just move this out of the way for a second. Here's what you're going to do. You've opened the new shot, hold the Shift key, click and drag it over into your image area. Did you see that? I just dragged it over. It already has the inner glow. It already has the white stroke. It already has all this done already for us. There's even some text there waiting for us. Okay? Look at that. That's what I'm talking about creating a template. You build it once. The next time you just drag an image in. Now, am I completely done with this? Well, the text doesn't really fit, but I'm going to give you two little things you can do. First, we can close the other image now. Here's a couple things that you want to do. We use this little box to focus right where we want the focus. The problem is the people in your shots aren't always going to be right in the center of the image, right where you want it to be. No problem. Here's what you do. Go to the Layers palette. Click on the black box layer, and then click on the layer directly below it, the little hue and saturation layer. Just click right in the center column. What that clicking in the center column does is it links these two temporarily together. Now, get the Move tool, click on your box, and position it where you want the focus. Just like that. Okay, now, take a look. See this big gap down here? You're like, oh, yeah, you're right. That's a better positioning for that. But look at the gap down here. No problem. Here's what we're going to do. Look in the Layers palette right here. All right, you see that the black area is see-through, right? And you look at the bottom, there's black area. That's this see-through area here. So if white is not see-through and black is see-through, can't we just cover that black area with white? Absolutely, that's exactly what we can do. Grab the rectangular marquee tool, draw a little rectangle down here, and press Option-Delete or in PC Alt-Backspace to fill that layer with white. And it's fixed. Just the key thing to remember is click right here before you do it. So Photoshop knows that which layer you're on and exactly where you want to click. Now, so that's step one. All you have to do for step two is go to your type. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Move it into position. And let's type in something that makes more sense. Something like, how about this? ... just between us girls. And we'll just slide it on over. Now, take a look. One of the great things that we can do at this point is this. If we think the background on this particular image isn't dark enough, no problem. Watch. You can go right here. Because this is an adjustment layer, you can always go back and edit it. If I double click on this adjustment layer right now, it opens up the exact hue and saturation thing that I did weeks ago. Okay, so watch. All right, there it is. You think, wow, this needs to be a little lighter? No problem. Just lighten it up a little more. All right. Now, you can, once it's all the way you like it, flatten the image. Just go to the Layers palette. Choose Flatten. Right. All right, now, go save the file with a name like Johnson Wedding 1 or Smith Wedding 1 or whatever it is. And as long as you rename it, the Cutaway template will be unchanged. So let's go ahead and do that so you can see what I mean. We'll go save as Johnson Wedding 1. Okay? And we'll save that as a JPEG. All right, Johnson Wedding 1. Hit save. We save the file. So now we have a proof for the client. All right, close that. Because we changed the name, if we go back and open up our Cutaway template, it's back to the original. You're ready to drop another photo in next week for the next wedding. So that's what this thing's about. And that's what this whole DVD is going to be about, is showing you how to basically automate your work, how to make it so quick that basically you'll have to build these things one at a time the way I'm showing you. But after you've built them one time, the speed that you can do the next wedding and the next wedding and the next wedding, and that's where you really make your money, on having that productivity and be able to put these things together that look elaborate and they look hard, but they're easy once you build the templates.